20th anniversary in that role. And what a delight it is to welcome him back to the National Quartet Convention. Let him know you love him, Dr. David Jeremiah.
Thank you, Clark. Thank you. You know, this is, I'm sure for all of you, as it is for me, it's kind of like coming home for a week and not worrying about anything else that's going on in the world except enjoying all this great music and meeting your friends that you haven't seen for a while. And y'all are eating a lot of stuff too, I've noticed. But we need that more than ever, don't we, during these days? I have actually been coming here for 20 years, and one of the things that happens when I come here, this is kind of an interesting thing. It wasn't planned this way, but I've written about 50-some books, and the last 20, I think, have been introduced at the Quartet Convention for the first time because they all come out the first week in October. And if you ever have written anything, like a book, you know there's a story with every project. And I think more than ever before, what I've been studying and working on and releasing this week has touched me deeper in my life than just about anything I can remember. I'm like most of you in this generation, just overwhelmingly disgusted about what's going on in our country. I told some people in New York a few days ago that when they write the history of this period of American history, it may be some of the blackest days we've ever had. Just stop and think about it. We've had an assault on unborn life. We've had an assault on marriage. We've had assault on our own national security. Every day it seems like another shoe drops. And you know what? If the Lord would let me, I might just get off the platform and get on a bus and go around and shout about this everywhere I could, but that's not what He's called me to do. And so the more these things pile up and the more things happen that just seem to tear away at the fabric of our nation, the more I just wanted to do something. And I just was saying, Lord, show me what to do. And I began to study the book of Daniel. And all of a sudden, I was reminded of this guy who, at the age of 14, was taken captive by the Babylonians. And listen to me, he stayed in Babylon from the time he was 14 until his mid-90s when he died. He never left Babylon. He served 4 kings, 5 different kingdoms. And in the midst of a pagan culture far beyond anything we're experiencing now, he lived his life for God. And I thought to myself, Lord, if Daniel can do that, I can do that. We all can do that. And I began to study how he did what he did. And here's what I learned. Daniel didn't stand down when trouble came. That would have been cowardice. He didn't stand aside. That would have been compromise. Believe it or not, he didn't even stand against. That would have been contention. Sometimes it's mean contention. But what he did was he stood up. He stood up, and that was courage. And that was conviction. Every time something happened in the culture that asked him to do something against his faith, Daniel just stood up. He wouldn't drink the king's wine or eat his food. He wouldn't bow down to his idol. He just stood up. And I began to pray, Lord, help us as believers, help me as a pastor, just to recapture what it means to stand up. You know, for many of us in this room, we may know more about what we're against than what we're for. We need to stand up for the things we believe unashamedly. And so it was just a short time after that that we got the Supreme Court decision on marriage, and so the Lord gave me a chance to practice what I thought Daniel would do. It was just a couple of days after that I was told that ABC News was coming to the church and they wanted to interview me on what I thought about the Supreme Court decision. Now, I don't think they really needed to ask me that. I just think they wanted to come out and see if they could get me in trouble. So they came out and they said, what did you think about the decision? And I said, well, you guys know what I think about that. But let me tell you what I'm really excited about. I said, you know what, in just a few days, my wife and I are going to be married for 52 years. We got 4 great kids. We got 12 great grandkids. They all love Jesus. And we are so excited about marriage. And you know what, men and women? What I said to them was, when God designed marriage, He got it right. And it's been great. And I wanted them to know how exciting marriage could be. And you know what? The next night, they ran the little deal. I talked to them for 20 minutes. This is what came out. Well, everybody in San Diego is very excited about what happened in the Supreme Court the other day. Everybody, that is, except Pastor Jeremiah at the Shadow Mountain Community Church. And then they dug out the most negative thing they could think that I said and put it in. And that's what happens with modern news. So I came here tonight, and I'm going to speak tomorrow on what it means to stand up. And it's from a book that we just finished called Agents of Babylon. It's the story of Daniel standing up for what he believed. And I pray that God will use this book and the message of standing up to help us understand that we need to stand up in some of the most basic things. Ladies and gentlemen, last year, more than 50% of the evangelicals in this nation in the last election did not vote. And 50% of the people who registered did not vote. If we would just stand up and vote, we could change things in this country. We just need to stand up and do the right thing. We don't have to go around and argue with people. We don't have to go around and get in fights. We just need to stand up for what we believe. And if we will do that as God's people, we can make a difference. So here's the deal. When you get this book, when you come to the event tomorrow and you come in here, I'm going to give you a little bracelet that says stand up on it. And when you get the book, I'm going to give you 5 more in a little packet so you can go out and recruit some other people to stand up with you. And I want you to read the book. I want you to get courage. I want you to help me stand up. If we begin to stand up, we can make a difference. Let me remind you again, we are not going to stand down. That's cowardice. We're not going to stand aside. That's compromise. We don't even have to stand against. That's contention. But we do need to stand up as Daniel did. That's courage, and that's conviction. So tomorrow in this room, I'm going to talk about what it means to be a stand-up person from the book of Daniel. And I've been told to let you know that these books are out there tonight, because some of you aren't coming to the session. Shame on you, but get your book anyway. And you'll be ready to stand up too. I think we're in a space right now where if we get this message, if we really hear this message, we can change the course of this nation. May God help us to stand up.